Right, Vicky, this is your first lesson. You're going to click on Illustrator and then this is what your screen will look like, right? So before you even start creating a document, make sure that this is always on Essentials Classic. So you're going to click File, New, and the default document I always use is print A4, and then I change this to pixels. Always in that order. And the reason I'm saying that is because if I choose an A4, then print, and then change to pixels or whatever, it's going to keep changing this. So you always click the print A4, then you change to pixels, right? Down at the bottom, color mode, because mostly it's online color is RGB, and the raster FX is 72, always for online. You can change this if, for example, if you're going to print something that you need printed, we can change the document itself to go back to CMYK and 300. So CMYK and the 300 is made for printing purposes because the colors will be different depending what you use. So you create your document. Okay, that's your A4 size. Okay, and this is Artboard 1. So Control minus allows you to see it's smaller. And can you see these two light gray sizes? That's the end of your workspace. So you can add as many artboards in this dark gray area as you want to work in. But the more graphics and more artboards you have, the slower Adobe will work. So just be aware of that. Right, so Control minus is to reduce the view or zoom out. To zoom in, obviously, is now Control plus. Okay, so for the purpose of this video, I don't want us to have an A4 document. I want us to create Instagram documents, the square post, the portrait post, and the stories or reels post. They're all 3 different sizes. Okay, so to select the art, because at the moment you can't do anything with this artboard. You can't move it around, do whatever. So to be able to select the artboard, you're going to hold your Shift and O. Right, now you can actually take that artboard, just drag it, click and drag it across to wherever you want. Okay, so remember when you're selecting an artboard, it's always Shift plus O. Right, so now as soon as you've selected it like that, you can see the sizes. Right, we're only interested in the W value and the H value, and we want this to be a square Instagram post. So a square Instagram post, stuff that you'll learn, always has the sizes 1080 pixels, and then because it's a square, obviously 1080 pixels, right? And enter. That's now an Instagram. My screen is set to whatever I'm working on. It's going to try and fill up that screen, but the whole artboard is going to be available. That's why it looked like it appeared bigger, but it actually hasn't. It just assumes that I want to work on it, so it's made this part a little bit bigger for me. I don't want to work on it like that, so don't worry about it. It won't happen with yours, I don't think. So I want it to go smaller, so Control minus, because I want to add more artbooks, right? So I'm going to do that again. Shift O helps you select it. And then when you want to deselect it, you click your selection tool. And now you can't move it again. Okay, so this is a square Instagram post. Let's just write. When you want to resize your text, you can either go to character here, and you can size it up here. But an easy way for me, if you're not interested in really what the next size is, hold your Shift key down and drag it down like that there. That will resize it. So a square Instagram post, not a post, is 1080 by 1080 pixels. Remember, you set your pixels at the beginning of the document. Right, Now to say I want another document, how do I get another artboard here? That's simple. You can simply click on the plus sign here to get another artboard. Okay. I don't really like to leave that little bit of space between the two, because if you have a graphic that goes slightly over, it's going to appear on the next artboard. So again, to select the artboard is Shift O, and then you just drag this one slightly more across or whatever. Okay. And yeah, but this artboard, I don't want it to be a square. I want it to be a portrait size. So while it's selected, the width is going to be 1080, but the height is now going to be different, 1350. Okay, enter, and it's changed that artboard, right? So this one is now a portrait one. Okay, now I want to make a reels one. So I'm going to go across just to give myself more space. And again, I'm going to select a new artboard. I don't like that there's that gap. I want a bigger gap. So again, Shift O to select. So now this one is selected. If you wanted to work back on number one, you just click on it. It will change the selection to that one, or just click, Right, so while this is clicked, I'm just going to drag it across. That pink line that you see basically just puts it to say, no, you're aligning with the others, okay? But now a Reels post is not the same as these other, oh, this one I must change. I'll change it just now. A Reels is 1080 by 920. And enter. Let's change this because this is 1350, Instagram portrait. This one is now going to be Reels and Stories, and that's 1920. Okay, so you've got your 3 posts. Let me just make sure they're all on the screen. You've got them here, but can you see this is a square post? How do you know? So it automatically does your first artboard, Control Shift is this one, your second artboard, your third artboard. But now when you got a lot of artboards around, whatever, you want to you don't want to remember which is artboard 3, which is artboard 3. So you want to rename the artboards. So what I do here is simply double click on artboard 1 and say square Instagram, 1080 by 1080, portrait Instagram, 1080 by 1350. These are things that you'll just learn as time goes on. And Reels and Stories is 1080 by 1920. Okay, those are them. I'm going to Control minus to reduce. So now you see if you hover over, you can see it's changed that. It just makes it easier. Selection tool to deselect. Now you can get rid of these things because you've got the sizes in your descriptions. Right.